Hello and welcome to another edition of the Plus One interview. And today we are joined by Lynn Classical soccer head coach, Mr. Eric Moreno. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's nice outside, so
Yeah,
that's always a plus. There's a lot going on in the world of sports amidst quarantine. A lot of things involving high school sports. This past Friday was the official start for the fall sports, soccer, cross country for certain districts. Can you just talk about this whole process, just how everything has been from March and then till now with all the meetings and new regulations and all the new information you guys have been getting about, whether or not your season is going to happen or not, and then the information you got that your season will happen, but you guys are going to be in the fall two spot?
yeah. It's been pretty up and down. The boys have wondered, hey, should I be ready? Should I not be ready? And when all these modifications and rules, we figured we may be included. And then when the NEC went ahead and voted and said, we're not going to have the season, we're going to have the season in fall too, that kind of gave us some clarity. And we were really happy and really motivated and looking forward to that. But then, unfortunately, some schools didn't like the decision and they went and protested and it got overturned. So now here we are and our league is going without us. And, we'll be sitting on the sidelines. And hopefully next season now we're going to have to try to find a new league or whatever the case. But the way these modifications really came in, it's a little upsetting because I didn't think there was equity when these were made, because you can really feel that, with this red issue is
Mhm.
the inner cities right now, none of us are playing, but
Yeah,
yet the suburbs, the private schools, unaffected, and
yeah.
they're all playing. And, our kids in the inner cities, we need athletics more than anyone.
Hmm.
And, for the league to just continue and go without us, it's really disappointing because you kind of see the media all excited. Oh, sports is coming back. Things are looking good, but nobody's talking about teams like us, teams like English, Kip and Tech. We're all just sitting on the sidelines and our boys can't even get on the field, get together. We can't do anything.
Hmm.
So, we're falling behind in the development, and, it's really frustrating to try to keep the spirits high,
Yeah.
because a lot of the athletes, they're just feeling this big time.
And yeah, you just talked about it, but the North Shore area has been hit with the red as the past. We had a moment where the cases were dropping, and then now cases were increasing again. And I know Lynn, Chelsea, I think Revere, like a lot of cities in this area are really affected by that. And the effect it has on the kids, especially for the seniors. This has a big effect on the seniors. For teams that are senior heavy teams, this has a big effect on them and moving forward with them, because some may have aspirations of playing in college, and now they don't have this season to just put together some more film and just showcase their talents to the schools if they haven't already made a commitment, or if they're like on the cusp of still getting recruited or not. So this has a big effect on those seniors.
Yeah, it's a massive effect. And when they eventually do able to get back out there, like I said, they're going to be really behind. Even, they're going to some of them might have to make a decision, because a lot of recruitment comes from, you know, certain clubs. And now our season is going to be interacting with that. So the North Shores and those kids will just easily roll into those club seasons,
Hmm.
and everything's going to work pretty well for them. But for the kids around here, they're going to be greatly affected. And it's going to last. We'll see the effects probably last a couple years about recruitment. And there are seniors now in my program that we're looking forward to playing college soccer, and we're going to do the best to hopefully that happens.
What has been your biggest frustration with this whole process?
The biggest frustration for me was, I already mentioned it, was, is everybody, kind of staying together. I think that would be the best case scenario. When, you know, having the teams, if you're in a league and not everybody can play, maybe you decide that, okay, we'll do the fall two together.
Hmm.
And that's honestly the biggest frustration is kind of seeing that how socioeconomic really impacts sports. It's already been a major impact, but to see it, firsthand with this situation has just kind of been like, everybody's going like nothing's happening, and everybody's not really thinking about all the kids that aren't playing right now.
Mhm. Yeah, and there was also some modifications to certain rules in soccer, due to the pandemic and trying to keep everybody safe. What can you just give me your thoughts on some of the rules and adjustments they made? Because I know they had one is like no handball or no throw-ins or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's really difficult. At the end of the day, you want everyone to be healthy and safe and not bring this to any, family members. And we're in a pandemic, it's real. And you have to give credit because they've given everything to make sure modifications could be followed and the sport could be played. But at the same time, I about the masks when you're playing high intensity varsity soccer. If you're sprinting up and down the field, it's really difficult with the mask. There's even studies on that the oxygen saturation is much lower in a mask than without a mask. And you can't dispute science. I mean, maybe it gives you the ability to play and feel like you're playing safe, but at the same time, this was one of the biggest things that I saw, and we're hoping, by waiting, we're trying to see the green light. I mean, the bright light at the end of the tunnel, and hoping that we won't have to play with masks, and I won't have to worry about that as a coach when it comes to playing. And there's tons of modifications, like you said. There's no headers, there's no corner kicks, there's no throw-ins. It's going to be really, no shoulder to shoulder contact. It's going to be really hard to police these games when it's instinct to play this way.
Yeah.
And, there'll be a lot of issues. And I'm trying to keep it positive and say, these guys, they're going to be the test group. They're going to go out there with all these modifications and we'll see how it goes. But the concerning aspect is definitely the mask. And even if you're training a team, you would have to keep those same 6 to 10 groups. You got to keep track of those groups. Yeah. And it's hard to train the whole team together and build that chemistry. You got the same kids in the same group the whole season. So it's a lot.
And also with the mask, the communication aspect, it's going to be, you have the mask on the field and you guys are playing with the mask on. It's going to be hard for the players to communicate with each other. It's just that's another aspect of it. They won't be able to hear each other as clearly or hear each other at all. So the communication part, that's good. That's a big key.
Yeah, that's also a big key. And then I forgot to mention, it's a 4-quarter game now with sanitized breaks. So you go out there, you play a quarter, you come, everyone washes their hands, and you right back out there. They're good modifications, but you like I said, safety's in my mind always. I feel for anyone affected by this pandemic, but some could say that these modifications are it kind of changes the sport. That's why I call it COVID football now, because it's not soccer or football the way we know it.
Yeah, in just my opinion, if they're going through all that to make all these modifications, they might as well not even have them play, because it's not the same game that these kids, if they've been playing it all their lives, they just can't change how they play just like that. It takes some time because they practice for so long how to play, and then you got these modifications. It's just like their instincts is always going to kick in, and it's going to be hard for them to adjust.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very interested in this test group, and just to see, I'm wishing them obviously all the best and great health. But I really am curious about the mask thing, because I played high school, I played, college, and I was out of breath without a mask. I can only imagine. I just can only imagine.
Yeah, and just got a couple more minutes. You when you talked to me earlier in the week, you talked about they had you guys set up for fall 2. That would have happened. Is there any benefit to playing in the fall 2? Because that's so close. There's other sports are going to be going on at that time, and the crossing of sports, I think that's difficult for me. I think that's just gonna be difficult to have those guys go in the fall two, starting in like January or February. And at that point, their minds is already focused their minds is already, they've already started training for college. You know, the seniors who are graduating, they've already started training for college. They're already starting preparing and looking at colleges. So it's like when you have to play a fall sport at that time, it's like now you kind of taking your mind off college for a little bit for the sport.
That's an interesting perspective because I really didn't even think about that, to be honest, and I didn't even, I mean, consider that being a problem. But you're right, kids might be focusing on, where am I going to college? What am I doing? I guess in that aspect, you see baseball players in the spring handle it well, but that might be an adjustment where I have to sit down and talk to some seniors and say, hey, if you ever need some help, or try to find out ways to cope with that. But I think a lot of people are really focusing on, the cold weather and us being able to get out there on February, because we know it snows and the fields are all getting covered. I remember last year Manning was covered all the way until March. So, it might come down to we have to train indoors. And then when it comes to a game, turf facilities, they're fine for the snow. You just have to have someone clear them off. Europe, all these countries play in the winter all the time with snow, etc. It'll just be a culture adjustment for us because everywhere around the world plays year round. So, there's always things we can do. Get in the gym, train in the gym, play if Manning's open, train at that facility, play games at those facilities, etc. And then also, now we have to find a new league or find new opponents to play. And, us in English, we're in the NEC. English was undefeated last year, and we were undefeated the year before. So they lost two top teams, and now we're going to go in and we're going to try to find opponents, and hopefully we can play, the Medfords, the Somervilles, all those teams that are getting affected as well, and it'll be competitive. Just hoping for the best that the season actually happens.
All right. Yeah, well, let's knock on wood it happens. But yeah, this is some crazy times. All right, Eric, thanks a lot for coming on to chat. I don't know what's the next step for you moving forward in this process.
The next step, we got the kids doing their individual workout programs. We're gonna sit and wait when we get out of red zone. Hopefully we can get some training in, get the cobwebs off the boys' legs, and get going. Just hope for the best.
All right. Thank you very much, Eric, for coming on. You guys have been watching the Plus One interview. Have a great day.
You as well. Stay safe.
You too.